Alrighty, this week we're going to continue on and more than likely go ahead and get the rest of the vinyl plank installed here on this project we got going. Okay, so here we are on the section that has a dummy board right here as a stop block or whatever you wanted to call it, just an anchor board, something to hold us in position. So I'm going to go ahead and take the nail out, get this board up and out of the way, and we're going to finish completing this little section right here. This, you might notice, this is backwards. This is the back of the board, so we're going to have to put these next couple in backwards. Not a problem whatsoever. Because this is a small area, I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to measure it. We are at 31 5/8, so I'm going to do about 31 and we'll do about 31 3/16. That's what we're going to go by, okay? That's going to be our measurement. So we might have it long enough. Yeah, right here's one of them. That's long enough. We got one long enough, and I'll get me another one right here. Locks in. You'll see what I'm doing in just a second. Just a little second. So actually I want to get my end joints locked in there first, and then I want to line my ends up right there. Right there. There we go. Got it all locked in and ready to go. So what I got now is two boards locked together with my end even right here. Now I can mark both boards with one measurement. 31 3/16 is what I said. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. There we go. Now I can make my top cut right there. Flip my square over. Finish it right up. I'm going to be careful here not to slide off. There we go. Now I got both runs cut for what I need there. Snap-a-roo and snap-a-roo. Those are extra. These are the pieces I need. Okay, I want to put my doubles in first because I want one full board as my last rip board. I don't want to put two boards in for my rip board. I'm going to save it for the last. Right there. And again, I'm just going to even it out. I cut it about a 3/8 or a little bit more short, so I'm just going to even the gap on each end. This is only, it's less than 3 foot, so if it's not a true quarter, as long as you got a good little gap there, you're going to be just fine, okay? So that's going to be fine, even though technically it's not a true quarter. It's probably about 3/16. I'm just guessing on that. There we go. Okay, now, same thing. Put my board there. Let's see here. I am using my little scrap board this time, but I still do not want to go out and cut it on the saw just because it is what it is there. But this will give me an accurate measurement doing this, and how I can get away from making that on the saw, making that cut on the saw. Lay my board down there like that. Get me a scrap board to use for a straight edge, and simply line up my scribe mark. And it is just a little bit of a bow here. You can see that. So where it bows out, I want to line up the first half of my mark, and you can see my mark basically disappears down here, but this is the pivot point. This is where it changes. So from here to here is going to be fine. I'll show you. Now that I'm to my second half, I can bring my my straight edge board and line up the second half of my mark. I'll take my blade out of the way. Now you can see this half of the board is lined up. So I'm still going to have it crooked according to the scribe, and I'm able to not go outside, and I can still use this as a straight edge like that just to make it a little easier. So what I did, let me show you here again, where my line disappeared, right about in the middle, I simply scooted that other end over. See how now this is gone, but this is right. Now this is gone, but that's right. So pivot point right in the middle will make it right. And then snap-a-roo right off. And there we have it. Same thing, I'm going to balance out my expansion gap, drop it in, give it a little jerk-a-roo there, all nice and flat, and good to go. Got our expansion all the way around the edge there. Looks nicely, and that's what it looked like. Okay. I don't think it's necessary to show that. We've just done the same thing right there. I will do that off camera. I do, however, need to scoot this over until it's wide enough to catch the distance of my carpet. Okay, the carpet that I've got, I'm going to put down over here is 6 foot. I wanted it about that. We got a little over 12 foot here on width, so I wanted it about half of the kitchen area, or about half of this area, because this is going to be the so-called living area for this project we're doing here. And this is 6 foot carpet. I measured and marked 5 foot 6 inches to that red mark right there. That will give me just a little bit of extra carpet to work with on the wall and to my transition point here. But what I want to make sure of before I am definite to go on that mark, I want to make sure the distance from here to my mark is not a distance where I'm going to have a little strip of vinyl plank. If I need to adjust the width of my carpet area to get myself a nice big piece of plank, that's what I'm going to do. So before I get too carried away popping my line and everything like that for my carpet right there, I'm going to go ahead and add a few small pieces just to see exactly where that line is going to fall on my plank. Okay, so right here is my line. I'm going to put this board there as a reference so you guys can see it on camera. This is, now what I said I'm going to do here, I'm just going to put a few boards together and see where that line falls on my boards, okay? I don't want to end up with a little bitty sliver of a board at the end, by no means, okay? Now it's looking like it's going to be pretty good. I want it to be almost a full board, or at least, that's going to be pretty good. I think I'm going to be okay with that, to be honest with you. I might actually, let's see here. You can see exactly where that is. I got about little more than half of a board there that I would keep. I still might bring my carpet over to about here so I can have at least about 3/4 of a board. I'm going to be okay with that on the width of my carpet. So let's bring that back. I think I'm going to start with a full board. So I'm going to scoop my line. I'm going to take this from 5/6 and I'm going to bring it right there. That's the line I'm going to go off of, okay? So technically I don't think I have to pop a line because I'm just going to end on a full board. So if I got my flooring straight, if I got all this straight, which I believe I do, it should be fine just working out with a full plank all the way down through there. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's why it's always a good idea get your measurement over before you go with it. See what's going to happen, because that would have been awful to have everything lined up, planned out and everything, and then end up with a small strip, this, or even half a board. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and drop it over to a full plank to make it look better. Okay, got my starters laid out there now. I can go ahead and take off running with it. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't putting anything down that was going to match right up with the existing floor. So that's what took me a second to get my starters figured out there, which ones I wanted to use. Again, I'm putting my spacer down there and sliding the board right back to my spacers. Okay, let's see what we got. Little sawing motion. Okay, this right here is going to be my very last plank that I have to put on there, and I will be at my mark. So once I get these filled in, we're going to be done with the vinyl plank installation. Alrighty, let's see here. I want to go ahead and get me some stuff laid out here so it'll be easier to deal with. There. I'll tell you what, this has turned out to be a pretty floor. Kind of like it myself when I get done here. We will pan over the whole thing and show you what all that little meticulous, show you how all that meticulous stuff looks and works out if you pay really close attention to not having your patterns together, making sure your end joints are nice and spaced out and everything like that. I'll show you how that looks as a finished product in just a minute after I get this all completely done. These two right here are really close to the same plank. I started putting them in separate piles because of the color difference of these two. This is almost a brown right here, and that's like a gray. So really close to the same, just a different color. I noticed quite a few of them when I originally started this. I said there was only 5 different patterns, but that's actually accurate. There are 5 patterns, but the same pattern may have different colors. This one right here being one of them. So this pattern and this pattern is almost identical, but the color difference is like night and day. So it really is not going to look like the same pattern whatsoever. Okay, that's going to do it right there. Alrighty. Okay, so this is the completed product. This floor will last and look like this for a very, very long time. Should not have any issues with this for many, 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 many years to come due to all the prep work that we put in. We made sure to get the floor nice and flat. Our expansion everywhere is nice. We don't have anything touching, nothing's tight. And again, we took the time to make it visually nice as well. You can see all the spacing and the end joints and the pattern and everything like that. turned out absolutely beautiful. So looky here, you can see this particular board, that one, and that one, and that one. They all stand out pretty significant, especially looking at the camera. A lot of times it will stand out even more so looking through a camera than it does with the naked eye, because the camera just highlights so many different aspects about flooring. I have actually got on a job to where I started looking at my work through my camera lens versus my naked eye to make sure I don't have any touching patterns or anything like that, because it simply shows up more uh, highlighted on certain things than it does with your naked eye. So anyway, that might be a good thing for you to do. Install a little bit, look at your floor through your camera, see if it's looking all good, and then you can continue on. But anyway, we have all of this completely done now. Very professional work. If you was to do this in your own home, somebody would absolutely think that you hired somebody to do this, because everything turned out beautiful. A professional could not do this any better. If you was to do this, like I explained, and do it step by step like I showed in this series of installations, vinyl plank installations, you are going to have a beautiful, long-lasting floor. Okay, so that wraps up the installation portion of this vinyl plank series that we've been doing. Next week, we're going to be trimming it all out. We're going to be trimming out the perimeter, the trim pieces around the threshold, and around where the carpet's going to go. We're going to completely get it trimmed out. And then after that, we'll be starting on the carpet portion of it, okay? So I hope we did something. I hope we showed something. I hope we said something that will help you professionals and weekend warriors alike here in this series. I hope we helped somebody anyway. Anyways, any of the tools that I used on this installation series, I will leave links to them in the description of these videos. So thank you guys for tuning in to the channel, and until next week, FBSB's out.